Okay.
Yeah.
My end, I'm unable to record.
No,
Sure. Okay. No problem.
read the share part. 1 second. Before that, I have to delete few things
Okay.
so that sharing will be available for me.
Okay. Fine.
It's the one for me.
Mhm.
Hello, who's joined?
Yeah, Ryan Bala.
Hi. We have a new guy called Murli. Okay.
Okay.
And just he's already working as a system admin. Looks like. So continue with the basic parts which he don't know. From there, I will start. So it's a kind of revision for you.
Okay, that's fine. ఏం పర్లేదు భయ్య మీది
ఏం పర్లేదు కదా.
ఏమీ ఇబ్బంది లేదు.
Celebrations. It's a boy. And then the Windows basic commands. If I hope you know all this ping, -a, DNS, host name, what is host name, IP config, net, how to net share, NS lookup, tracer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
భయ్య మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి.
And the server, right? The reverse look, Jones.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. No.
భయ్య మీది అక్కడక్కడ స్క్రీన్ స్ట్రక్ అవుతుంది.
అదా
రైట్ సైడ్ లో
ఛాన్స్
సైడ్ లో ఇది ఉంది కదా లేబుల్ థర్డ్ పార్టీ అక్కడ
లేబుల్ దట్స్ ఫైన్. ఓకే చేంజ్ ఇట్. క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది బికాస్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ షేర్డ్. యు నో రైట్ ద డీస్ పార్టీ. హై రామ్.
Yeah.
జాయిన్.
I know.
రామ్ బేసిక్ ఏంటంటే మనకి టుడే we have a new guy on Murli. Okay, is a admin, so he joined for SCCM only. So go the basics which we have gone through till date. Okay,
yeah,
and then jump into the wherever he says start from there, we can start from there. Okay,
yeah.
So till DNS and okay, and then we enter into the SCCM. Okay, so basically SCCM has the SMS. It started from SMS. Okay, SMS 1.0, then 2.0, then SMS 2000.
స్క్రీన్ అంతా బ్లాక్ అయిపోయింది.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, not sure. Okay, into the we look at the versions. Okay, so coming to the version side, okay, we were discussed like SMS 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. These versions were there. Okay, out of this, we will talk about SMS SCCM 2012. Okay, and the next version is current branch, which is we also call it as SCCM 2016, but the actual version is 1511. Okay, from there it is started as a software as a service. It is actually aligned with the 10 product. So Windows 10 means Windows 10 has designed in such a way to the updates or a long term or short term updates are consolidated, and frequent features also gets updated along with the Windows updates. Similarly, SCCM also, what happened is aligned with that product to support their Microsoft other products like Intune and SCCM and other Windows 7, Windows 10, and other cloud products also. So that's why they made it this as the software as a service kind of thing. Okay, so after that, basically, give me a second. In between, I can also show you a few things. Give me a second. One second. See. Okay, this is Bala. So in general, this is the normal SCCM console. Okay, but if you look at the latest one, okay, uh, the one for example, okay. So what happened is Microsoft introduced new servicing options. Okay, so with this, you get the software as a service, and including the own products itself, gets updated automatically, and it will be available for you. Okay, cloud services. If you look at under servicing, okay. So it's actually 1606 version, okay. But after that, if you look at there is a hotfix is available. So this also gets downloaded as a self-downloaded, and it will be available. After that, new versions will automatically. I mean, new features will be added to the console. For example, if you look at here in the collections, okay. Assume that a little bit of console, all those things. That's why I'm taking the tick box is there, which is green. Okay, that means it's able to ping. Okay. And it is online. Okay, this machine is not online because we have not started this machine. Okay, this is a new feature, for example, which was part of as a software as a service, which was delivered from as one of the update. Similarly, this kind of features also gets delivered with the new version. Okay, so we'll go through that in detailed when jump into the after the steps would be we go to the SCCM 2012, then we upgrade to print branch, and then the latest version, which is 1601 now. Okay. It's not 1606. Okay, it's upgraded already. Okay. These are the versions in general. Okay, and there is hot fixes updated here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll start with the SCCM 2012, then we go for current branch, we upgrade it, okay, and then we go to the we once this is done, we start with the current branch as a fresh, and then we upgrade to the latest versions as date. Okay.
Okay.
what is this product and how it was, aligned in the Microsoft products. So coming to that, basically, there is a product called inside the Microsoft products. There is a product family called System Center. System Center has a different set of products. Okay, out of that, there's one product called Configuration Manager, which we are going to learn. Okay, apart from this, there are other products also available, like we mostly use, or we can easily find in our infrastructure Ops Manager, which is SCCM we call it. Okay, so this monitors your applications, your client health, and your servers, your hardware. Also, it can monitor if something goes down. For example, server is went down, or it's not started, or some application service is not starting. For example, it can be SAP server service is stopped. So it's a critical issue, or it is in hung state. Okay. So what it does is it will have agent or without agentless also. It can monitor that service function, and then it generates an alert in the SCCM console. So what happens is once the SCCM console got the alert, there will be a team which will monitor, can be a monitoring team, for example, in the real world. Okay, they will either acknowledge or they create a ticket from the console and work on it. Or they can run actions. For example, service is stopped. You got an alert. You configure in the SCCM to, if service is stopped, you can start the service automatically. Okay. If still it is not starting, it gets alert in the console, and then you can action on it. Okay. So we can do with the operations manager, which we call it as a SCCM. Okay. Then back to the service manager later. Then another product called System Center Virtual Manager, Virtual Machine Manager. What it does is basically, you have virtual machines can be created from your vCenter, from VMware, or from Hyper-V. So instead of using two different consoles, you can use from this Virtual Machine Manager. You can use as a single console for a different type of hypervisors. Can be managed from a single console. This is the core idea of this product, which will be suitable for your data centers or your virtual machines management. Okay, and there's a app controller, which is delivers your applications automatically from a portal based. Okay, which is used in your cloud environment mostly. And there's another one called Data Protection Manager, which would takes continuous backup of your machines, and it can use for your disaster recovery or recovery planning. DIM is it requires some kind of agent. It will be there, and then configured files and folders or the drives. It can take the backup. Okay, that is DPM. And inside other product is endpoint protection, which is basically a antivirus product, you can say it as. Like you in your environment you may have Symantec or EPO or McAfee product basically. So instead of using their product, Microsoft also it has its own product called endpoint protection, which can does the same work of your other product like McAfee or Symantec products. So this is also now integrated into the System Center Configuration Manager as a role. Buy as a separate product, yes, it is available. And also you can integrate this entire product into this Configuration Manager by some of the features. I mean, you have different roles. Out of that, one of the roles is endpoint protection. If your company is decided to use the endpoint protection, you enable the role of endpoint protection in the Configuration Manager, or in your SCCM. It works just as a standalone product. Okay, and as System Center Advisor, this is no more, I think so. This is into the much I have not used this, and meaning all the products I have used. This I have not used much. But the here offering that helps it change and assist the configuration of Microsoft servers, software, and internet. over internet. Okay, software as a service related, it works. Okay, that's fine. Mm, so other one is the essential. For example, essential is system center essential is it's a combination of few. I mean, this is not the new actually. Here released earlier also. We used to have SMB servers. For example, small business servers. In one business server of your Windows, you may have your ESA server, that is your firewall server, your Exchange server, and other roles also used to be there. That's how the product was designed earlier. Similarly, for example, a few companies maybe if you take it to food world or some kind of supermarket, which they are not into the IT, but they required IT. So in that situation, they use this kind of products to combine multiple products in one server, and then they can use it. For example, in this case, System Center Essential can be used for Operations Manager as well as for Patch Management. Okay, and there's another product, Orchestrator. So this is the core, I would say, for the System Center family, and this is a future of the System Center family. So this basically this will have a workflow. In the workflow, you will have your workbooks. Okay, what happens is, for example, there is a new machine you are introducing in your infrastructure. So there are a few steps you follow as per your ITL standards, right? For example, it has to be built with the operating system, and then install your all applications, configure your all the settings into your compliances. For example, securing your a machine with the BitLocker or maybe some kind of encryption, all things, for example. So that all would be with as a workflow, and that can be run as a workbook. Okay, so this uses background some kind of automated scripts, mostly the powered scripts, and then it does your work in a or in a repeated work, or any chance of you are looking for automation that can be done with this for by creating your own workflows and workbooks. Okay, finally this was Opolis, and SCOM was which we talked about, the monitoring tool, which we call it earlier as Microsoft Operations Manager. See, the SCCM also, that we call it earlier SMS, then SMS, after SMS, then SCCM 2007, now 2012. Now it is software as a service. It's become so it is 1511. Service Manager is the integration of all these tools. So what happens is, Service Manager is your ITIL based, pure ITIL based, a ticketing tool which uses your services, your incident management, your problem management, your change management. So it has integration has been tightly done with all the System Center products. For example, you got alert as served down in your SCOM console. It gets alert, and that forwards with a connector to a Center Service Manager, and this manager would create automatically a ticket, and it will assign to the required T. Once before assigning it, you have an option to Center Orchestrator to act on that ticket if it is based on the description. For example, service stopped, server with the service name. Then Orchestrator can automate that work if required. Okay, that you can configure your workflows. Okay, so this is how the products tightly integrated and developed to suit enterprise level management of every aspect of your requirement. Web Center family. Out of that, we will only learn System Center Configuration Manager, which is, we call it as SCCM. In fact, there is no real word called SCCM, but what we are doing is we take from here SCCM. And sometimes you will for or you see in the blogs or somewhere config mgr also, which also stands for the same name. Okay, Configuration Manager or config mgr, SCCM, all are the same. Mutli, got it?
Yeah, got it.
Just to say, for example, Windows Server, and which operating systems, client operating. So client operating systems, you have Windows 7, 10, certainly, similarly, you also have a family called System Center. So inside System Center, there are multiple products. Out of that, we are learning System Center Configuration Manager. Why I was talking all this is when you go to the other world, definitely there is an integration part that comes. Okay, System Center, SCCM, Orchestrator, all those things are tightly integrated. Okay, that time if you don't know. SCCM, but you don't know all other remaining products, at least the name and what it does. It will be difficult to challenge to handle.
Okay.
Yeah. What SCCM it does? Okay. SCCM features. Okay. I would go through rough features. Okay. And then anyway we will go into the each feature in the console and we'll work on it. Okay. And the way I have told to these guys also earlier. Okay. The first is since these guys don't know much into the console, they never seen this console, so I wanted them to get familiar. Then take for the architectural designing, like way to design CAS, way to design primary, way to design secondary site, how the real world communication would happen. That classes are completely separate. The code for me here is to get clear you guys with the SCCM console and work with the features. Then we'll go through once the features was gone. Okay, you have learned like software distribution or patch management, operating system deployment. Then we will ask self questions kind of thing. What happens if you have multiple sites? How do you design? How it works? Otherwise, what happens is if I start telling, you should have, you have here, a different role. Example, asset intelligent role. Okay, it would be for you. It's because why asset intelligent cannot host here. Okay, I mean, I don't know whether this role or not. Okay, but example I'm taking, or take it as reporting. Okay, why can't I have a reporting on a secondary site? Maybe you can say in general there is no proper SQL, but that's true. But why I can't have it is another reason also there. So for example, you can manage from the centrally. You can do all the reports. You can get all those reports so that it's easy to manage. Okay, such things
it consists of 20 roles. 20 roles it changed, 20 or 15 roles, but some of the roles couldn't be configured on secondary servers.
Yeah, I've already I've already given in another post after. This, I have explained in detail in this post. So ask them to go for the documentation. That they did even the document also out of this. It's coming. So your roles, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And each I have already explained here. Can be where we can place it, where we can't place it.
Yes.
Okay. And again explained how to enable all these roles. In documentation side, I have done it and I have given these guys to go through this basically, and this is the default from the side only, this one. Okay, so here we will enable by default roles, and then additional roles where we will be enabling all those things. Okay. So what I have done is what I'm going to teach is my would be I go through the primary site. Okay, I'll all the features. Once you guys are familiar with these things, then we'll go to the CAS primary and then secondary and how to manage all of them. Okay, but I can't go directly CAS then primary then secondary. I'll not go in that way because that I feel personally, it is a confusing thing. At least for these guys, they don't know at least anything about SCCM. Little bit of the knowledge you have.
Yes, yes. Okay. So we're done with or familiar with the primary. Can you explain multi-site environment, how we can multi-site environment, and how we manage multi-institution points and
Exactly. And also there would be 3-4 classes with the real infrastructure. I will not take this as a lab. Okay, what I do is I have I support for multiple clients. Okay, so I'll take it. I'll connect basically. Okay, I'll show how the infrastructure is designed. Okay, how many collections you can see, the patch management, operating system related images, boot images, and the data sequences. We can go through that. Okay. For one account, okay, multiple accounts I have, so I'll go through at least 2-3 different companies. Infrastructure I can run with that. Now actually, I can't do anything now. After, because if we start, talk about division point. For example, I did even explain for them, while I was explaining all these roles, style of my teaching would be, explain them, the vocabulary. Then I taken them to the installation part. So these guys know a role called management point, even though they have not, installed the management point role. They know that intelligent role is there. They have not done that. Okay, the vocabulary I have covered so that it's easy for me to take it to the console. So the roles. Okay, maybe we can start from the SCCM configuration in console. If you
can you start from the installation? You said the 3 classes are already completed.
Yeah, I can start the installation. Okay, what I can do is I can the installation part as a separate to you if you're okay.
Oh, no problem.
Because the installation takes at least 2-3 hours, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
So for these it took 2 or 3 days, right, Bala?
Yeah, 2 days.
2 days for them, 2 hours, because I have explained them in the software, everything. Even software also I have posted in the Google. So if you want practice on your own, you can do that. And if you want the recordings, I can give you the recordings also what we have done. They took all the classes recordings, that is SCCM, from SCCM related classes I have it, but not for the basic one which we have not recorded at that time.
Okay, fine. I'm SCCM only from the starting class.
Anyway. Okay.
My laptop is not supporting to do practicals. That's why I'm asking you for the lab environment from the initial stage.
Yeah. So lab is, I will tell you, lab related. I don't want to hide anything. Okay. It's a time limit. Okay. Lab has a time limit, but unlimited times you can do it. Okay. If you start lab now, okay, it will give you 2 hours time. Okay. You can finish your lab 2 hours. After that, again, you will go back to the lab. But by the time all the settings will be rolled back. So the way you start is, it depends on you. Okay. Yesterday also in the WhatsApp I told you, it's not everything would be covered in the lab. Okay, it is not possible. Okay, but 95% of the lab things are possible. Okay, I can't say 5%, but internally, I have to say 5% of the things cannot be done definitely. Okay, for example, latest things, for example, patch management can be done, operating system deployment can be done, but with the limit of the operating system deployment. In our lab, if we do Windows 10, maybe you are doing with Windows 8 or 8.1, something like that. Okay, but the flow would be the same. Deployment you cannot do it, but you can create as many as task sequences you wanted if you are aware of the task sequences. And you do driver integration. All those things can be done, but with a limit. Okay? The actual deployment may or may not be done. Okay.
How can we come to know whether the task sequence are executing properly or not, and how the OS is installing, and how we can come through the errors while deploying the operating system?
Alright, okay, that's why as I said, you may not have for the Windows 10, okay, but you have for 8.1. You should get the deployment state for 8.1, not for 10, definitely. But for the 10 related, you don't have.
Okay. All the operating system setup will be same when we come to the
It is
sequence.
same, okay. It is same. It is thing, okay. The thing is, the troubleshooting part is very important here for the operating system deployment. The most of the time consuming is operating system deployment only. Nothing else.
That is a important
because it has to cover everything. It has to cover all the possible scenarios which we do in the world. Okay. A machine have old hardware is there. He wants to agree to the new machine altogether. Data should come. What to do? And that's one of the scenario. And one scenario would be the same Windows 7 migrated to Windows 8 or 10. How we do? User data should not lose. Okay. And the other one would be the Windows 7 to Windows 7 only. He is feeling that system is slow, so he wanted to format it. Cool, right? So all these things we handle. What kind of task sequences we do it? For example, you have multiple HP machines, multiple Dell machines are there. Okay, how do you handle them? Okay, with a single task sequence, you create each model, each task sequence individual. You can't do that. Okay, it's difficult to manage.
Yes, okay.
Thing, okay. Give me a second. For the installation also, already for the installation, there's a blog post, okay? We step by step installation steps, requirement and installing.
Okay.
For the installation, three requirements. So from the what all the things we have to go through. In fact, we did with the step by step here only. Okay. And okay. I can go through it, okay, just for your information so that we can start smoothly. Okay. So basically for the SCCM related, the pre-requirements would be, I will go through it in a separate session for you. Okay. The pre-requirements and installation part. Okay. But I'll take it from you from CCM after installation what the things we will do. Okay. But I will explain for now the pre-requirements and installation part. Okay. So that you will know you have done the installation at least. Okay. The things would be the pre-requirements would be the IAS, because the reason why we concentrate on IAS is it's simple, easily remember. Okay. What I'm explaining is, okay, guys, the client, okay, client will communicate with the server based on a protocol. Like you open your Google or Gmail, okay, suddenly client will open a functionality of SCCM server with a HTTP protocol inside, okay, but it doesn't open your Internet Explorer, but it has a mechanism to browse that protocol and get the required things. To that, okay, bits is one of the requirement. Why we use bits? Okay, stands for Background Intelligent Transfer Service. What it is part of every operating system by default with the 2.0 or 2.5 version. Okay, later point, also has a different version. However, bits bits core responsibilities are, for example, you have a machine is downloading some software. One second. For example, in your infrastructure, okay. For infrastructure, for example, okay, since you're the new, okay, if I draw like this, okay, hope you are able to see, right?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay, you have shade. One second. Shade. Like this, okay. That means a typical office. Take it as, you have an office in Hyderabad, example, and lot of servers, lot of workstation, lot of devices, lot of printers. Everything is in a practical office. Okay, if you want what kind of applications or the service will be there, you go through the under labels. Okay, there's a typical office. Okay, post which consists of all the servers. Okay, assume you have your office. Okay, some user is okay. You set a deployment to deploy Windows the MS Office 2010 example 2010. So Office 2010 should be deployed to all these machines. Okay, so if the machine is available, it should deploy. But how the deployment has a configuration example. Okay, I have not explained all these things. Okay, in SCCM console how to set it, but assume you set a configuration like client will go here and gets download the files. Example. Okay, I've not told how to configure this in your SCCM console. Still, okay, assume that. Okay, you have an option to configure like that. So client is downloading. In between, it has downloaded maybe 80% of complete 80% of the has been downloaded to this machine. Okay, now user for some reason shut down his machine and he went left the office. Okay, tomorrow he is coming back. Okay, when he comes back, okay, now it will not start from 1% again the download process. What it does is from 8%, the remaining whatever the 20% is there, that 20 only will be downloaded. That means it has a capability, okay, which is inbuilt with every operating system. It's the internal component of Windows. It has a checkpoint restart. That means when it has stopped, from there it will restart. And also it is intelligent, okay, in such a way that, for example, you're downloading from, for example, all these machines are downloading from a remote location, for example, like this. Okay, this is WAN example, which is a 1 MB line. Okay, what happens is which has a capability to only download be available line. If I take it as 10 MB line, okay, MB, if it is used 5 MB, okay, 5 is free. Example. So out of MB, configuration to use only all the time 50% example. Okay, I've not told how to do this configuration. I'll explain later point of time. But example, you said whatever it is available in the bandwidth, use only 50%. Leave the 50 so that for example, some user coming up and he is trying to authenticate to that remote server or copy some files. Okay, in that case, it will analyze the line pipeline. What is open, what is free percentage, and out of the free, it will take all the time 50%. That means free is always free. Okay. Similar way, you can configure configurations with the help of bits. So bits are very important in the entire configuration. That's why bits is one of the pre-requirement. Okay. So this will be configured. It would be available on every client. Okay, as well as this can be this is one of the pre-requirement for your distribution points, because you look at this content located in your distribution points. I've explained to these guys that if you the TP Murli, distribution point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So distribution point is, you take it as another way, it's UNC shade folder which consists of all the content, or if you're confused the content word, you take it as all the software dump, or all packages source will be located in that machine. That's called distribution point. Top of bits we enable the bits on top of DPs basically. Okay, so differential comparison is one of the key, one of the pre-requirement of inside the features. Okay, IS components, .NET Framework 3.5. IS components which are required. Okay, after that ADK. Do you know ADK? What
Yeah.
is
Application? Yeah. It is mainly used for boot image generation. It seems boot image for x86 and x64.
one part. Okay, out of that, you have system image manager, which consists, you can create your unattended XML files to do many things, in fact. Okay, so it was, earlier we call it as AIC. That's the old version. Okay, Windows installation. Okay, and now it's ADK. ADK 10 is the latest, and it has the versions also aligned. If using with the latest Windows 10, again ADK versions would differ all the time. So the ADK installation steps. Okay, out of that we use deployment tools, and it information user state data, as well as P information which used for your UTS. Okay, the USMT and deployment other tools, we would check it, and we'll click on next to proceed further. Also SQL installation, and come to the SQL requirements or any other exact versions I have not told to the guys. Okay, the intention is the support or the design side. When we go to the design side, take it, what SQL server can, if you have enterprise edition SQL, that it supports the number of clients, or what is capacity of your SCCM server can support. Only that depends on your SQL server. Okay, that kind of configuration I would explain in a different class once you cover all these features. Okay. But for now, it's just the SQL Server 2012 which we have installed, and after that Service Pack 3 we installed. Okay, installation we configure the services, and this is done with the old versions. We used to have the compatibility with the escalation. Collation is where it stores information in a different characters basically. It was we used to change it, but by default this is now it is getting selected, so no worries for this. And SQL reports after installing the installation of your we will fine tune with the memory percentage, because otherwise it starts using from the memory as the minimum to maximum as 2 TB. So whatever the memory is available on your machine, it will eat up. So we'll figure that. And then WSS we will install. Okay, I have not installed with the role just because from internet downloading, which would take some time. That's why I installed from the exe file. Okay, it's also required your database, because whatever the downloads it does the patches. I hope you know the WSS, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it actually ask loudly.
Yeah. Do we require SQL Enterprise Edition or Express Edition is also okay for installation?
Yeah, Express. That's what I stopped on this page only. Okay, if you it's actually internal database, we call it as Express Edition sometimes. Okay, so with that also it can work, but it depends on how your infrastructure is designed. For example, you have a central site here. Okay, that is cache site. You have a primary. You have the secondary. Okay, this situation. Okay, this is the design. Okay, for example, this is cache. This is PO1. Okay, this is PO2 site. Okay, now install here, okay, example, and you install soup server on a internal database, then there is a limitation. Okay, with Express Edition, you can have maximum 4 GB of your database size. So definitely this is not enough for larger enterprises. Okay, so do is we use this database on the SQL server, which is we bought it for a license with the SCCM server. Okay. It had license. Okay. So this is a design side. Run with the design side later point. Solution is to install on a SCCM database. It has created a SUP DB, and while we are installing the WSS, we have chosen the custom WSS server as the website. Okay, which is runs on 8530 8531 port. On the default website. The difference, I'll just read it. I think this is server which we installed. So this is default website which runs. If you look at the binding option, okay, this is the 880 and 443. Okay, but as WSS is, if WSS is, while I was installing, I have chosen as a separate, created as a new separate site like this, but add a new site which has done by your installation of WSS, okay, not by me. So it created this website and it has binded to a different port called 8530 and 31, which are the default ports for WSS if you are in a separate site. So what happens is clients will start using 8530 or 31 if it is a secure site. Okay, the way we will also go through the securing client communication with HTTPS communication at the end of the session. Earlier we call it as native mode or IBCM, internet-based client management. So your client can communicate over the internet also. That it starts coming up with the wizard for configuring the WSS, like your synchronization or your schedule of the synchronization, selection of your products and the categories, so that we have to cancel because this will out by SCCM server in a component configuration wizard. Okay. Then we have gone through the firewall exception ports. Okay, but this has been skipped actually. Requirement and installing site. Installing lab. Okay, so on your splash.html file, it will ask for the welcome visitor. Click next, and then we have chosen as the sale site configuration, which for as we will just go through the first configuration first yourself, or get familiar with your console, all the options. Then we'll go into the deeper level with the primaries and secondaries and the configuration. That's why I have chosen only the primary site only here. After that, I have not joined in any of the site configuration. Okay, if you look at in the next step, it will come. So the software which I have shared is completely evaluation, which works with 180 days. Okay, so visit, and this one of the step which would ask you to show your latest requirement files, which would get downloaded from internet. So I have chosen that I have already downloaded, in fact, but the downloading process also I think I have shown. If not, it is available on this flash file. If you go through the down, it will be there. Okay, It gets downloads all the files. Then this is the two wizards. I've not talked much on this because this is not the right point of explaining at this point of time. But if you want just to give you in a high level uh, in phase, okay, you are actually setting the console languages, okay, on the SCCM server, so that if, for example, if the Japanese or the Japanese user wants to access the console, SCCM console, it will be in a Japanese language. Similarly, the client language step, this is client software center as well as the configuration manager in the control panel applets. Everything would be in their localized language. If the language is listed here, it would appear. And every site must have a site code, okay, which can be of a numerical 3-digit only. For example, you have from A to Z 1 letter or 2 letters or 3 letters, or a combination of 0 to 9. So in our case, I think we have chosen PO1. The of the PO1 would be later P0 otherwise, okay. The later part I want to install CAS as a separate, then attach this site CAS and then manage from there. Okay, that's why we have installed only primary site. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I know it.
Okay. So client always communicates with the site code, okay. Site to site communication also would happen based on the site code information. For example, when I say site to site, you have a primary site, another primary or primary to CAS would communicate with the site code information. And this is the where you can later point also you can join from SP1 2012 SP1. You join your primary site also later point to site. For example, as install as a standalone site. Later when you want to join your site to CAS site, you can do that. In fact, okay, later point of time. And this is SQL communication 40122 port should be open between your SCCM server and the SQL server. The one actually we have done the configuration in the group policies, and this is where it asks you to show management point and distribution points to communicate with what level of communication should a client should communicate. Say example, client should communicate with port 80 R443, which is secure communication. If a client is able to communicate with the HTTPS, if a client went to online, for example, the user is in an airport and the application should push to some software, critical software or critical Windows update, okay, that's get delivered as long as he connected to the internet, even though he is not connected to a VPN. Okay, so this also we will execute in our lab. For this lab, you cannot do it in the Win lab, which I'm going to give you example. But the test part you cannot do it. Okay, you can do. In fact, even in our lab also we can't do the testing part, but all the configuration part can be done. I mean to say, machine is not in the internet. It can't commit because we have to register a few things in the DNS. Okay. And the next level of click next, and then it does all the pre-requirements checks here. Okay, and then you will click on the begin install. So if you missed out your RDC or IIS or SQL or anything, okay, at this stage it would give you the information that hey, list all these things, and require logs also I'll show you in a minute. This you install it. Once you install, okay, you'll get you'll verify the site change. Let's go back to the yeah. Okay. So while you are installing SCCM server, okay, you get here logs would be created. Okay. To view the log files, there is a tool called CRace. Okay. which is available in your SCCM software CD, okay, under setup tools. I think I copied here, right? So I can show you. This actually comes from the toolkit. Okay, basically this is part of toolkit, but without installing toolkit, okay, we will be testing this a lot. But it's just saying here, this is CD. Okay, this is a source CD, and inside this you have tools. You have here your CM trace file. So with this, what you can do, you can view any file which is ending with a log. Okay. Example. Now, when you're installing, when you start the wizard and trying to install SCCM, okay, it checks for pre-requirements. This is a pre-requirements log would be created under C colon, C of the root. Okay, so it does, it checks. For example, here has shown you as error. Okay, since it's a passed is treated as a red color, it passed has taken as the red. Okay, if you look at here, not found is there, so it's treated as a red because this our server is not a SQL clustered, not a subscriber. All those things was not there. That's why it has treated as it is passed. If it is a SQL server, we have to do in a different way of altogether installation. That's what it is looking. Okay. Similarly, this is a log file can be viewed from red, yellow, for example, more useful. For example, the warning. Okay, that's why it got red. Okay, and if you get if you look at analogs, okay, this requirement and installation or the setup log is this. Okay, setup step has been completed. Setup log is this file. I'm leaved after the size of the installation. Okay, so all the comments, everything it has checked. Okay, you get an error as 5. So if you want to know what is this error 5, just take this value of 5 and to the tools, okay, error lookup, okay, give name as 5 and lookup. So it says 5 stands for access denied. So you read this line with stating that this registry could not be read or access denied. So that way you can understand. And this is a log if it is this is a tool if the log file is getting appended with the latest information also, it will still show you. So it's not locking actually. If you open notepad, if somebody has done changes, it will not be appeared in that notepad. But here what the changes is happening, also you can view it continuously. And after the installation, I did explain them, so I have to explain to you also, but I'll run a faster way. Okay, so the first configuration. Okay, example. I hope you're able to see the round circle. Bal. Right? So this SCCM you install. Okay. Now, we're talking about the first time configurations. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
I'm in mute.
Hello.
Are you able to hear me?
In a mute.
మురళి వాయిస్ మాకు వినిపిస్తుంది.
వినవర్తలేదు.
అది ఇప్పుడు
చెప్పమనండి.
హలో,
మురళి వినబడుతుందా?
వినిపిస్తుంది, మీరు మాట్లాడేది వినిపిస్తుంది.
ఓకే, ఉంది మీ వాయిస్ యాక్చువల్గా. Okay. The thing is actually for what we are going to talk is you install the software, but you don't know how to configure now. Okay, to do the configuration, what I'm going to do is I'll take it actual or architecture level. A few concepts I'm going to talk on a single office suitable thing. Okay.
ఓకే
Hello. ఎవరో ఒకరు ఎక్కువ చెప్పండి, తెలుసు కదా నాకున్న ప్రాబ్లం. ఎవరు అస్సలు అర్థం కాదు.
ఓకే ఓకే
ఆయన ఇంతకుముందు వినలేదు కదా, ఆయన ఫోకస్ చేశాను విత్ వాయిస్. Okay, so take as your typical office. Maybe you install here your SCCM server. Okay, as a first step, what are the things to be configured? So I explained to you in earlier classes, okay, the words like discovery, boundary, all the words, if you remember. Okay, now, okay, those things will be more useful now. Okay, what happens is you've configured your system as this, but you should tell your SCCM server that this is to be you should manage only this lines within this within circle only. You should manage something like that. We should tell to our SCCM server. Okay, this is called boundary. Okay, so what is boundary? Already boundary as per your
boundary can be IP address range. Range or Active Directory site name or subnet.
Yeah. Okay. So in a way, in a non-technical way, or in a layman technical way, okay, what I can explain is what is a boundary means. This is the hello. Server which is going to manage all these objects within your physical location. Yeah. Okay, so these objects are should report or it should manage. That means we should configure a boundary. So normally the boundary information we pull it from Active Directory site. I told you why we will pull it from Active Directory site, because what happens is we are talking about only a SCCM, but look at Active Directory. Okay, would be a AD team, which either you have ADC or DC. So if this gets down, client will go to somewhere else to for their for their log on validation. Okay, so instead of that client, what they do is they have here, okay, this would start providing you the authentication, that is your domain controller. So AD team and network team, they work together to create the required subnets already, okay, before you go and hit to the production. Okay, so people, what they do is they create your subnets, and Active Directory team, what they do is, if this is a physical site called Hyderabad, okay, in Hyderabad, what are the sites it's going to be support would be configured in your Active Directory sites and services, so that the clients can authenticate or able to authenticate with the local domain controller, so that the logon delay will not happen at least. Okay, and that's one of the I'm just taking as one example. Okay, there are replication, all those things also there, but I don't want to enter into that all. Okay, but just to give you an example, this is how the config. So where you have your Active Directory sites and services, if you look at your Active Directory opened, okay, normally here you would get default -first site name when you opened. Okay, here what subnets you have, okay, you will start adding here your subnets and you assign to the required site. In our case, Hyderabad is there. Hyderabad has a so that means the means in Hyderabad, in other way, the machines in Hyderabad must be only by 8 subnet. Okay, machine coming with a 12 subnet, okay, it will not communicate. It will not communicate with you. I mean, it will not be there as far as you know, or as far as the AD team knows, as far as network team knows. Okay, because to communication should allow also there should be default gateway, all those things I have explained earlier, right? So not taken in the consideration. That means it's not planned. It is not part of our subnet. It can be, okay. So the better way would be, always network team all, what are the subnets they are, allowed to use. That we address ranges from the DHCP, or maybe, the teams would, configure on their network. So definitely for servers there would be different VLANs, different, or there will be their workstations would be different, okay. So it means not just the one, okay. There could be a multiple subnets, okay, which I have already shown you in the images, right? If you remember, one side has multiple subnets, okay. So we simply depend on the subnet, whatever the subnets are assigned. Already these subnets are already configured to sites. That means what is we can use simply site. So if there is a change in future, okay, so from your network standpoint, or maybe new machines has been introduced, for example, or new subnets has been introduced, that would be part of this site, because they have to add it. Otherwise, they get a different errors with the login process related. So what we do is simply we'll add this as the subnet, okay. Let's go to first one would be the what we do. We should configure our this. Okay. Coming to the boundaries, as I said, boundaries are with the 2012. It has changed actually. Boundaries has lot has been changed in the boundaries. Okay. What things now we have to do is, if SCCM server is there, for example, first thing is you configure boundary. Boundaries should be part of your boundary group, right? So group should be there. So these boundary groups, what it does, creating a boundary groups. Let's talk, okay. Say example, this is you're in Hyderabad, okay, and you may have server subnet as a separate, or you have maybe a Bangalore has manufacturing office, for example. So they may be connected with that link, okay. You may also have Vizag as another business unit, okay, which is a shipping unit, for example, okay. In that case, Hyderabad as a one side, if it wants to manage, what we can do is we'll include this boundary information also. We'll all this boundary information and we'll put it into a we create here as a separate boundary, as Vizag here as a separate boundary for bigger unit, maybe a manufacturing unit. This may be for shipping unit, okay. For Hyderabad, maybe this is corporate network, okay. So 3 different boundaries has been created now, but these are in nearest site, okay, which managed within your SCCM server. In that case, these should be part of a boundary group. Okay. So in other way, you can take it as a collection of your boundaries, or part of one group can be boundary group. What it does actually, boundary groups does lot, okay. With boundary group, now you can decide for these machines where is your content is located. That means this client should go to which DP would be decided by groups. Okay, say example, either it should go to here DP or to this DP would be decided by what? And also site assignment also can be configured here. Okay, that means site code also information would be comes from your boundary now. Okay, this is a completely new change when compared with a 2007 versus 2012. Okay, in 2012 you don't in 2007 you don't have boundary groups. In 2007 version, okay. With the 2012 it is a bigger change. Okay.
Okay.
And okay.
Right.
Yeah.
మీరు చెప్పేది ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి 5 బౌండరీ గ్రూపులు కలిపి ఒక పెద్ద బౌండరీ గ్రూప్ లో ఉంచొచ్చు. Okay.
That's what we tried yesterday also.
Yeah.
You created 2 different boundaries, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Ram.
హలో,
No.
వినపడింది కదా?
నేను క్వశ్చన్ అడిగిన నేను
బౌండరీ గ్రూప్స్ అనేది నేను అడుగుతున్నాను, అంతే కదా?
చేస్తున్నా నో ఇట్లయితే ఎట్లా చెప్పు మరి.
లేదు చెప్పండి, క్వశ్చన్ అడగండి చెప్తా.
మనం ఎన్ని బౌండరీ గ్రూప్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం?
బౌండరీ
చేసాం.
ఒక దగ్గర 2 చేసాము, ఒకసారి అది మళ్ళీ ఫారెస్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు అడిషనల్ గా వచ్చిందని కూడా దానికి యాడ్ చేసాం.
సో యూ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ రైట్. Next thing is, once the boundary has been configured, okay, then what would be, you have to discover what are the objects are there. Now you set your SCCM server that you manage all these things. This is your area. You shouldn't go to Bangalore, okay? To Bangalore server is meant for to manage only Bangalore location. As if this is Bangalore, this is in Hyderabad side, okay? So Hyderabad is managed by Hyderabad location, managed by a different site. Example, okay? Now, after boundaries, you should discover what are the objects you have, how many users you have, how many machines you have. All this information should be discovered. So what we have done is we use the discovery methods to discover the objects. So discovery methods are in few types. Like as I told you, what are the discovery methods we have discussed in the last class?
Forest discovery, discovery, system discovery, heartbeat discovery, network discovery, like that.
So you can tell maybe just checking or how much you have gone through it. Okay, what discover what this does actually. Active Directory user discovery, what it does.
Whatever all the users are discovered.
Have you
discovered by that.
Okay, what's the log file?
Log file.
ADESR.log.
Yeah.
USR. Exactly. Okay. So, okay, good that you have gone through it. Okay, now what I'll do is, I'm going to explain now. What happened? Okay, so we have the boundaries. Okay, now coming to the discovery. So discovery will be used to find your objects within your. Okay, so we should tell there are different methods of discovery. So normally we follow different discovery methods based on requirement. Again, discovery can be configured. Few discovery methods can be configured in secondary site. Few of them can be configured in primary. Few of them configured in different locations. So these things, way to configure also comes a designing question. This same object in multiple sites cause problem to you. Okay? This point of time, what we have done is we are just creating on single site, maybe say example as a Hyderabad example. Okay, so we will only try to discover within this site. Okay, when we jump into the designing side, okay, which I normally take it in Saturday, Sundays. Okay, in a free time, so it will be 4 to 8 hours class with 1-2 breaks. Okay, so the minimum things can be understand in that class of designing side. Okay, otherwise if we split it, different questions comes to our okay. For now what we do is we do this. Okay, for the discovery part, what we do is there is an Active Directory forest discovery. This is a new discovery method, okay, with the 2012. Okay, what it does is it will discover objects within your forest, and it can also create your subnets automatically as a boundaries. Okay, so if you don't know, if you want to get all the subnet information automatically, you have an option to create forest discovery method. Okay, if you enable that forest discovery method, what it does is it will go to forest and it will search for every subnet information, and it will create as a boundary. Later point, you can create those boundaries to boundary groups, and then you can go to your boundary mechanism, whatever to be done in the boundary side. Okay.
Oh.
And the next one would be Active Directory System Discovery. Okay. System Discovery, what it does is it will only discover your computer objects. Okay. So what is the object? It will discover. Okay, whether the object is there. If so, it will just discover, and it brings that object to your collections. Okay.
Okay.
I hope you know the collections, right, Murli? Okay. So I have explained these guys already collections in the vocabulary when I am explaining the vocabulary. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what I've done is
You mean to
the
say
collections.
Okay.
Yeah, the collections. Okay, good. So, after system discovery, after that, there is a Active Directory group discovery. What it does is basically, this is very important. For example, you wanted to deploy, some software to only Hyderabad. You have a different OU structure, right? For example, if I take it this, I have Active Directory users here. Okay, for example, you want to apply for Hyderabad only stations. You want to get the users or maybe workstations which are of this OU. For example, it's very clear. You Active Directory, you have OUs, okay, organization unit, okay. So there is a structure for your company. It reflects your business, basically, business structure or business manage your infrastructure would represented by these OUs, or that's called the sub administration part of domain. Here the workstation, okay, this workstation it has OUs. In this OU maybe hundreds of objects are there. Now you want to know what the machines are part of this OU. Okay, there is a requirement comes. Okay, we want to deploy only Hyderabad machines. Hyderabad workstation should deploy with this specific notice or change their wallpaper. Example, of course, that can be set with the group policies, but something you have a requirement like Skype business should be only to Hyderabad only OU workstations OU. In that case, this is one of the requirement you regularly get it, okay, in your real world. Okay, so in that situation, what you do is, okay, you should enable group discovery. What it does is it also gets that object is located which location, which OU. If you want information, it should be enabled. And okay, that kind of information. That means OU level information only you can get it with the group discovery. Next one would be the Active Directory user discovery. Okay, what is user discovery does is it will discover all the users. And self-explanatory. And the next one would be the heartbeat discovery. So this is the heartbeat discovery, which is by default it will enable for 7 days. It is not recommended to change the value also. Okay, what it does is if it is available, okay, it checks for that heartbeat. That means if like when it is started. Okay, if started, whenever the machine is started, it will send some information back to SCCM server that I am alive. That information would be tracked by this server. The specific setting will track it. So based on that, you create your collections. Later point, it would be useful that some machines are inactive. For example, if I take another SCCM console, for instance, it is the one. Okay, some of them would be definitely inactive. Say example inactive. That means who has done this inactive? Okay, it has marked in your database your maintenance task. Okay, I've not talked about that as of date. Okay, I'll talk on that. There are set of maintenance tasks would be done by a SCCM server. Say example, if the machine is not active from 21 days, okay, you mark it as inactive by by checking the configuration of your bit discovery is configured for how many days. Example, this is one, right? Yeah. This is the one, okay? This is 7 days. That means after 21 days, it would, making that, as inactive. Okay, in a blog post, I'll explain that later point of time. But by enable 7 days, and it will mark you. Only that, it does many things. Okay, I can post you a blog post on only dedicated to heartbeat discovery, maybe today. Okay. That. In fact, I have already done, right? Yeah, I did. Discorrelated, I have done. What we have explained already. Enabling discovery models. Why we are doing whatever I'm explaining, all this information already posted in a very well post, right? Yeah, right.
Discovery and boundary.
Yep. So this was, I have already talked about it. Okay.
Yes.
We can enable also have but this would be more clear when we talk about infrastructure related design side.
Yeah.
Okay, till that time it will be not much clear. Okay. Okay, and what next is the next part would be. Okay, we were talking about
what is meant delta discovery?
Discovery is added from SCCM 2007 R3. Okay, so delta discovery is what it does is collection. Okay, not talked all these things as on date, but since asking, okay, I can go it. You know the collections very well. Okay, example, I'll take another SCCM server.
So whenever we are configuring this discovery methods, it will have option like
it will ask you. Yeah, for that there be collections. Okay, I'll explain. So what happens is, take these collections. Okay, I created this collection example. This collection is by default it will update. Okay, rule will be updated every 7 days. That means this okay re-executed and it checks only 7 days. Say example, this query now if I execute today, it is machines. Example, tomorrow if I execute this query, 15 machines, 5 machines changed. Okay, but that information only will be reflected after 7 days. So the major challenge. Okay, so what happened is from SCM 2007 R3 they introduced a new feature called Delta Discovery. So what Delta Discovery does is it will check for the latest changes to the membership. Okay, and will pull that information only. And there is a best practices for setting up the Delta Discovery also. And that information, Delta Discovery, what happens is the membership changes only will be pulled. After that, you can align that information with the incremental updates for this collection. Okay, these two are I would say in the practical words you can correlate. Okay, and configure your collections based on your requirement. For example, there is a requirement of some software to be distributed very frequently. Okay, so software is targeted based on Active Directory group. Say example, install MS Office 2010. So this is a key software example in your organization frequently requested by users. So help desk, what they do is they simply add a required user or required use machine or username to that group. So what we do is in the collection front, okay, we create collection based on the 80 group name, okay, and also take the use incremental update. Okay, so we'll happen is the incremental update has by default 15 minutes example. Okay, that can be set to something else. Okay, what happens is the user group is changed. Now, no new user has been joined. Okay, his username has been added to the AD group. Okay, so in the discovery, okay, go to the discovery now. Not that one. So, example, post schedule. Okay, that has been newly added. Okay, so now that AD group has to be but pulled for 7 days. You wait for 7 days, right? Just get the latest change. The way is when you enable delta discovery. Okay, what is this? This would trigger delta discovery every 5 minutes, which is not good configuration. You can go for 30 minutes actually, 15 minutes interval. Otherwise, you load up your inboxes. I'll explain all those in a designing class. But what happens is this would go and fetch the modified object information, and it has to populate in your collection, right? Somewhere it has to populate the latest change. That's why as I said, what we do is in the collections we will correlate that collection with the new update with the collection. Okay, where it is? Yeah, here. Got it? New object was discovered, okay, within that 5 minutes, assume that, okay, but that object has to be part of some collection, the required collection. For example, in this case, this is Silverlight, so Silverlight should be deployed for a new user example, and this query contains the based on the AD user name. Okay, so in that situation, what happens is the object has been changed, that has been pulled, okay, to SCCM database, but that has to be reflected in the required collection. When it will update based on 7 day schedule or incremental collection update. So in that case, okay, this would be there in the maintenance task collection incremental one. So based on that, it gets updated, and the machine user would be part of that collection automatically. Okay, so in a way, simply, what is delta discovery? Delta discovery will fetch modified objects. That's it. Simple one answer. Okay. But background, how you correlate is the important point here. So you fetch the information, but the collection is not modified. Use. You are not going to use it to use that. Okay, the collection also should be updated.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So after that, these are discovery. Okay. For network discovery is basically network discovery is basically if you don't have Active Directory, you want to still want to deploy a SCCM. Yes, it is possible. So group machines also can be managed with the SCCM. So, say example, you have such people are using work group because of their own security reasons. Example, in that situation, you want to discover those objects. Okay, then you can use network discovery. Why we are concerned about discovery options are, say, this is boundary. Okay, so boundary done. Discover your objects. Okay, that means to the SCCM server, what are objects are there. Okay. These objects, for example, you have 100 users, example, or 1,000 computers, something like that. You discovered, but what will you do with that? So at first, the client should be okay to the as a first part to install the client. Okay, you should actually enable the required roles, right? The roles are basic roles, sir. Like you have your management point, you have your distribution point. Then, okay, then you have your client can be installed. Client installation, as I explained in the last class, it has different methods. One would be manually can be installed client. Okay. The other one would be the script. With the script you can install. You can install with logon script. You can install with the group policies. You can install with the software update point based install, and also you can install with the client push. Okay. So in other way, why we are talking about Discovery is people see, without Discovery, can I install a client? Yes, you can install. Okay, but object only comes if it is installed. Two sections. Okay. Okay. It will not appear in your collection. Okay. So you can manually and it can come. But if what you want to deploy for waste settings to be done, then you can't do that. Okay. And based on requirement, okay, we always go through it, but in this general, okay, configure your query methods. Okay. But it's few people don't configure the forest discovery if they have single forest. This is useful if you have a multi-forest environment. Okay. Okay. And client pushes, you can install the clients remotely. Okay. Any of the machines. Okay.
Yes.
We also should talk about the roles. Okay, roles I told. Okay, management point, at least distribution point, minimum required. Again, then clients can be installed. So after that, what we have done is we went to the boundaries and we created the boundaries. Okay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to see, right, this one. So let's delete this. Okay, deleting this. Okay, so that reconfigure everything. Okay.
Oh.
Just like this. Then explain basically how to configure. While configuring, what are the precautions should be taken. Default enabled. Okay, and actions. So what we have done is in the last class. Okay, yesterday's class. Give me a second, one more time. If you want, I can explain this in the lab. Okay, you are going to look on the lab. So this is a lab. Okay, Murli. Murli.
Able to hear.
Hello, man. Yeah. So this is a lab, Murli. Okay.
Okay.
You can access from the web. Okay. So you will have one client machine. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
With the top 2 hours. Okay.
These are TechNet virtual labs.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't have separate labs for this. Why? Because if we done some settings today, and if the settings will vanish after 2 hours, and it is very difficult
That's what
to
I said
us.
already.
That's what it is.
That's what I said. You cannot have
No, if all the settings. If we have all the settings vanish it afterwards, and it is somewhat difficult to create the same settings every day.
We'll do it then.
No, whenever we are deploying the operating system for somewhere else, any application deployment. Today I have deployed some Adobe Reader or create any else like Adobe Reader, Firefox, and some application updates. So it is somewhat difficult to manage like log files, what is happening, and how it is difficult now to configure every application every day, and it try to
Do
netline.
one thing.
Um,
I'm kind of fully dedicated lab if you want.
okay.
That is a completely different story. Okay, you have to pay as you go, like by taking some kind of Azure or some other
Okay.
lab.
Okay.
Okay, but just the 2 hours, you can practice it. Whatever we are discussing, that can be done within this lab. Okay,
Okay.
this is what what I can provide. Okay,
Fine.
whatever the things we are doing, that's what we will perform here. For example, last time we have done the configuration, which took how many minutes, Bala? The entire configuration, client installation.
మనకి 10 minutes 20 minutes లో చేస్తాం కదా.
5 minutes it took for us to configure.
Yes.
We have this machine is mine is 1000 watt almost, which consumes heavy power, to be frank. Okay, and for that it did net connection and the power resources are very high. Even my home sometimes goes easily because of huge configuration what I bought. It was costed for me 2.5 lakhs almost, single desktop assembled by me. So cannot provide another dedicated lab. Okay, this is what the lab. Okay, what we can go to it. Okay, so the first step would be the boundaries. Okay, if you're depending on boundaries should be automatically created, you can enable forest discovery, and you say that automatically create your IP subnet based is also automatically. Then what happens is here it gets created record. Okay, for that you can verify from your logs. Okay, so once the SCCM server is installed, it would be available under Microsoft Configuration Manager under okay id forest log file. This log file, okay, which when it runs, okay, it's that a query automatically. For example, if you look at here, I selected to the top. Okay, now I'll go back to console. I'll go to discovery methods. I'll say run discovery. Okay, discovery. Further, where is that log? Last one. So see that it has now. If you look at the time 9:49. Okay, just now. It executed, that information can be viewed here, and if it is success, okay, it should get it my AD based site as well as the subnet based site. Okay, these are automatically created as a bond. If you want to create, what you will be doing is create new boundary. So boundary can be IP subnet, as I said, DNS suffix, action suffix, prefix. This one, or Active Directory site name. So the site name already it has created, or you create like this. Give your site name, maybe this is a corporate office. Okay, and you can make this of one of the AD group which we have not created it. Okay, so in this way you create your boundaries. Okay, once the boundaries has created, boundaries would be part of one boundary group. So here I can say that head site. So whatever the boundaries I have, I say apply. Okay, says now boundaries are part of boundary group, but we have not configured. Okay, what we have not configured is we have not configured here boundaries for site assignment. environment. That means client will get a site code. Okay, so that information, if we want to do it, okay, we have to, okay, and if your distribution point should be part of this group, that means the content within this these two boundaries, within these two boundaries, whatever the machines are there that can use this IP for content. Okay, do that. Okay, that's how it will be used. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the system discovery. So when you enable here, so normally you have to enable, then on the start. So what it does is it will browse your Active Directory. Okay.
Struck in by struck in by రావట్లేదు.
కంప్లీట్ గా పోయింది, అది ఆడియో పోయింది ఫోన్ నుంచి.
అవునా? అయినపడా
మరి నాది ఫోన్ సింబల్ కనిపిస్తలేదా పైన?
నింపలేదు.
మన దగ్గర పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ ఇంట్లో ఫోన్ తో కనిపిస్తుంది అంటే ఫోన్ ద్వారా కనెక్ట్ అయ్యారని అర్థం.
ఓకే,
మీరు సెట్ కనిపిస్తుంది కదా,
ఇది వస్తున్నారు మళ్ళీ.
అది ఆడియో లేదు, మరి కనెక్ట్ అవ్వాలి.
ఉండదే చెప్దాం.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. Looks disconnected. Okay, because of the Skype limitation, looks like. Okay. So here, but okay, what I'm trying to explain is I can choose my entire Tata as my domain for discovering with this whatever the computer objects are there. But this is not how you're going to configure. Okay, if you have a multiple site infrastructure, you may configure to limit it to the use which this SCCM server falls. For example, this SCCM server meant for only India, entire India to manage. Then you would only choose India. The clients would discover from objects. Okay, I have not segregated properly till, so I'm choosing entire data. Okay. As a child containers also, if you want to discover, then you would take this option, and Active Directory groups also would discover. So in few companies, for this discovery method, they configure as a set account also to be used to discover. For example, you have non-trusted domains. Okay, forest is trusted, but one way trust, something like that. Then they use different account to go into that specific domain and then discover. Okay.
Okay.
Now, polling schedule. What is happening is in the polling schedule, it has 7 days to discover full. And when you click on apply, okay, for the first time it does automatically. Okay. If you want this to be change it, you can change it based on your requirement. Okay. This is standard which should be there. Okay. As I explained, ADSI edit all those things in the past classes. Okay. So you have different attributes, okay, within the schema, right? So those objects, if you want to get it as part of your inventory, for this inventory means the discovery part of inventory, then you can include it special things. Okay. Okay. So this you can configure to exclude some of the things based on these settings. We'll go through this later point of time. Okay. So I like, okay, what will happen now if I click run as soon as possible? What happens is actually if you look at the log file, okay, let's open the log file. It is system discovery, right? So what is happening is it is actually trying to, this is the past log file, what happened. Okay, this is binding to this container, okay, the LDAP path, okay, then it is fetching all the information, and something is found, okay. If the objects are found, it creates a file called DDR, okay. It would be created, okay. It would be stored under your SCCM server, and that file will be read later point of time, and that information would be written into the data. See, so what is, if you here, PC has discovered for the first time, okay, and then for this it has created a medium.box file. Okay, let's spin this, okay. So here F has been created, okay, called DDR with a random name with a DDR, and this information, okay, one second, yeah. So once the file has been created, what SCCM is does, it will strictly monitor this DDM box, and whatever the files are there, that information it will open and read, and it writes into the dash. Got it? So now if I call yes here, what happen is, okay, you try to do this, okay, create, and in a fraction of a second file also gets deleted. Apply, okay. Anyway, we have thousands of users, so we will see for the users, okay. Now, okay, and this, once the machines are discovered, okay, now it has these 3 files are there, right? It went automatically. Noticed? That means has created the objects. Okay, if you go to the devices, okay, refresh the membership of the collection, okay, but you know the collections already, but not the collection page and all those things, but at least collection is this group of objects can be found, okay. So automatically come, these are the 3 things are found, okay. Similarly, you should configure other your discovery methods, okay. So I'm just taking quickly, so look, data, okay, okay, let's say apply, and user discovery. So user discovery you can see easily for that US. User, okay, this is a fun, right? So it's open already, right? Yeah. So here you can see, if I apply browse metadata, so I have thousands of users, okay. I'll choose my this is the one, right? Yeah. So I created some. I have here a lot of users. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take when okay when I run this. Okay, I'll try to open this. Okay. Yeah. Let's see, and also I'll try to copy some of them to desktop. Later point we'll try to win that. Okay. So click OK. Give me a second. Later. Oh, it has already. It has actually. Okay. Never mind. So it has discovered the object. It was questions, or should show the objects required objects? Okay. Okay, so what done is today we how to why the things at the first time we have to configure like boundary and discoveries, and then the roles. Coming to the roles side, yes, the roles are already you can hear from the roles. By default, management point is already enabled. IP is already enabled. Do the configuration for this if required. Later point of time, like enabling maybe PXE, all those things. Okay, but not now. Okay. Additional, I mean, just the normal thing. After this, we have to install the client. Okay, so coming to the client side, yes, we have already a client on a machine, which I've done in the yesterday's class, and then I have to actually start now the software distribution, all those things, but we have not done. Okay, do it tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Tomorrow class would be the SCCM client manual installation. Okay, as I explained, client can be installed in different methods. Okay, that in a way client deployment methods we have. Okay, so out of that we use only manual method as a first step. At the point we go through it, each method how to utilize. But at the point we should the installation, because that makes a lot of clarity in our brain, how to troubleshoot further, what it is actually triggering, all this. Okay.
రాజ్, మీరు పంపించిన రికార్డింగ్ ఉంది కదా ప్రీవియస్ క్లాస్ది, అది ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయడానికి చేస్తే రిమూవ్ చేశారు అని చెప్తుంది.
మీరు చేయకపోతే రిమూవ్ అయిపోతుంది. మరి నాకు 1 GB ఉన్నది, మీరు ఎలా చేస్తారా?
రీసెంట్ గా నేను చేయడం మర్చిపోయాను అనమాట. ట్రై చేస్తే పోయి చూపిస్తుంది.
2 hours ki it is almost occupying, man, 500 MB వరకు.
ఒకసారి పెట్టరా, నేను అది కూడా చేస్తా. ఇప్పుడు దీంతో పాటు పెట్టే.
What I'll do is don't take from there. I'm going to create I have already created, in fact, Google Drive. From there you can download it. Okay.
No.
Okay.
పెడుతున్నారా?
Something కదా. Any doubts, Bala?
No, లేదు.
ఏం లేరా? సో సెకండ్ టైం నీకు క్లియర్ అయిందంటావు మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి.
స్టూడియో ఇన్స్టాలర్ ప్యాకేజ్.
ఓకే, గుడ్. రామా,
నా ప్రాబ్లం ఏం లేదు. నాకు కాకపోతే కొన్ని మనకి కదా కొన్ని రిక్వైర్మెంట్లు బయటకి వెళ్ళిన కొద్దిగా ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళు ఒక్కొక్కటి అడుగుతున్నారు.
ఓకే, మనం తర్వాత మాట్లాడదాము. అది ఇందులో మాట్లాడలేము, రికార్డింగ్ ఉంది. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే రాజ్, మరి బాయ్.
He has already disconnected his audio, so I can ask him.